This very moment, beneath the shadow of Toronto's iconic CN Tower, an old giant is being reborn. But this is no ordinary renovation. It's one of the boldest transformations modern baseball has ever seen, with colossal video boards rising as tall as a 4-story building, asymmetrical outfield walls reshaping the rhythm of the game itself, and fan districts that feel more like a festival than a ballpark. Rogers Center is rewriting the rules. Yet behind the polished facade, troubling questions emerge. Was nearly $300 billion truly well spent? Or has tradition been traded for profit? And is this the still beloved Sky Dome of old, or something entirely different? The time has come to uncover the dramatic rebirth of one of Canada's greatest landmarks. When the Sky Dome opened its doors in June 1989, it was hailed as a marvel of engineering. As the world's first fully retractable roof stadium, it stood as a symbol of Canadian ambition.
The Sky Dome will stand as a symbol of this city, of this province, and of this country.
Its location, planted directly beside the CN Tower in Toronto's entertainment district, made it an instant icon on the city skyline. For the Blue Jays, it was more than just a home. It was the crown jewel of Major League Baseball, capable of hosting 50,000 fans under a roof that could swing open in just 20 minutes. But as the decades passed, the shine began to fade. Stadiums built in the 1990s and 2000s embraced a new philosophy. Ballparks designed not as multi-purpose arenas, but as baseball-first cathedrals. Camden Yards in Baltimore, opened in 1992, led a retro revival that prized intimacy, asymmetry, and character. Suddenly, Rogers Center felt cavernous and impersonal, a concrete-era relic that prioritized functionality over atmosphere. By the 2010s, attendance had plateaued. Younger fans were seeking more than just a seat and a hot dog. Across North America, ballparks were reinventing themselves with social gathering spaces, craft dining options, and interactive fan zones. The Rogers Center, in contrast, still reflected the entertainment trends of the late 80s. Vast seating capacity, limited premium areas, and little attention to circulation or in-game atmosphere. The need for transformation was clear. Toronto didn't just need upgrades, it needed a reimagined experience that could compete with modern MLB standards. And yet, the stadium's prime downtown location made replacement unthinkable. Few teams in professional sports enjoy such an enviable site, accessible by train, subway, streetcar, and highway. To abandon the structure for a new facility would mean leaving behind the very heart of the city. Instead, the challenge became, how do you reinvent a late 80s dome into a ballpark tailored for baseball? That's where Populous, the global leaders in sports architecture, entered the picture. Known for reshaping iconic venues from Yankee Stadium to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Populous was tasked with turning a concrete giant into something fit for the 21st century. Alongside PCL Construction, a firm with deep experience in complex stadium projects, they began planning a multi-phase renovation that would not only modernize the fan experience, but also create a stadium built around the rhythm of baseball itself. The stage was set, but the real test would come when demolition crews arrived and the transformation began. Transforming a late 1980s multi-purpose dome into a baseball-first park was never going to be simple. Rogers Center wasn't designed for intimacy. It was built to host football, conventions, and concerts alongside baseball. The challenge for architects and builders was to carve out character without touching the iconic roof or disrupting the stadium's footprint in Toronto's bustling downtown. The solution came in 2 carefully planned phases, each compressed into a single off-season. The first phase began the moment the Blue Jays' 2022 season ended. On October 14th, demolition crews moved in, tearing down sections of the outfield seating and concourses. Within just over a month, decades of uniform concrete had been stripped away, clearing space for something new. The result was the outfield district, 5 distinct neighborhood-style zones that turned the once sterile outfield into a lively social hub. Behind right field, the Corona rooftop patio emerged, a bar deck with skyline views and a summer festival atmosphere. Above left field, Park Social brought lounge seating and yard games, a playful twist rarely seen in MLB. The reimagined WestJet flight deck now had better sightlines and interactive activities. And directly above the bullpens, fans claimed new terrace seats so close they could watch pitchers warm up just a few feet away. The field itself changed too. Outfield walls were moved in and raised, creating unique angles and reducing foul territory. For the first time in the stadium's history, the dimensions were asymmetrical, giving games a different energy and challenging players in unexpected ways. Crews executed all of this without disturbing the retractable roof overhead. Specialized scaffolding and heavy cranes installed new seating structures beneath the massive truss supports that power the roof. By opening day 2023, fans walked into an outfield that felt like a different ballpark entirely, yet still framed by Toronto's familiar skyline. If Phase 1 reinvented atmosphere, Phase 2 tackled comfort. Beginning after the 2023 season, construction crews gutted the entire 100-level seating bowl. This was more than a chair swap. The lower deck was completely excavated and rebuilt from the foundation up. New concrete was poured, seating geometry was redrawn, and the bowl was reshaped to improve sightlines. Capacity dropped from just over 50,000 in the Skydome era to about 39,150, but fans gained what they had long craved: wider seats, more legroom, and cup holders at every spot. Luxury spaces were woven into the design. Clubs like the Batting Tunnel Club allowed fans to watch players prepare just steps away from the dugout. The Home Plate Club and new infield lounges offered premium dining and modern finishes. Players too saw benefits. The Blue Jays finally gained state-of-the-art clubhouses, larger training rooms, and reworked dugouts. For decades, Toronto had lagged behind other MLB teams in player amenities. Now, its facilities matched some of the most competitive in the league. The work was done under intense pressure. With less than 5 months before the 2024 season, crews poured concrete through freezing Toronto winters, using heated enclosures and accelerated curing methods. In a tight downtown footprint, cranes swung massive precast pieces into place while traffic and transit rolled on outside. Technology was another area where Rogers Centre shed its old skin. The stadium's audio-visual system underwent a sweeping overhaul, replacing its aging scoreboard and sound equipment with some of the most advanced tech in Major League Baseball.
A little bit higher than high definition. It's using a 1080p signal, so it's going to give you better colors, higher resolution, and it's going to look great for our fans.
A brand new main video board, stretching over 110 feet wide and equipped with high dynamic range LED, now dominates center field, flanked by ribbon boards that nearly wrap the entire stadium. To put that in perspective, the board is wider than 3 full-size city buses parked end-to-end and stands as tall as a 4-story building. More than 24 additional digital displays were installed across concourses, clubs, and even locker rooms, transforming how fans experience the game. To match the visuals, a fully distributed loudspeaker system, powered by modern digital signal processing, replaced the old audio infrastructure, delivering crisper announcements and more immersive sound throughout the venue. The renovation also carried a strong environmental footprint. During Phase 1 demolition alone, more than 2 million pounds of concrete and steel were carefully recycled instead of being dumped into landfills. The Blue Jays' efforts earned the club Major League Baseball's 2023 Green Glove Award, recognizing Rogers Centre for achieving a near 100% waste diversion rate. Combined with the use of efficient precast concrete systems in Phase 2, these measures demonstrated that reimagining a stadium doesn't have to come at the cost of sustainability. Instead, Rogers Centre became an example of how sports venues can modernize with both fans and the planet in mind. By opening day 2024, fans immediately noticed the difference: comfort, intimacy, and sightlines rivaling baseball's best. For the first time in years, Rogers Centre felt less like a cavern and more like a ballpark. But with every bold reinvention comes the question, was it enough? Did the Blue Jays truly future-proof their home, or simply buy time before the next wave of demands? And perhaps the biggest question of all, was the announced $300 million Canadian price tag enough, and was it worth it? How have fans, critics, and players judged this transformation now that the dust has settled? The answers to these questions are coming next. When the gates reopened in 2024, fans were walking into more than a renovated stadium. They were stepping into a new era for baseball in Toronto. But for every fan who celebrated the changes, there were others who wondered, had something been lost along the way? Was this still the same Rogers Centre they grew up with, or had it become something entirely different? One thing was clear: The transformation had been bold and expensive, but unlike many stadium projects that rely on taxpayer dollars, the Rogers Center renovation was entirely privately funded. Rogers Communications and the Blue Jays ownership absorbed the full cost. When first announced in 2022, the project was pegged at 300 million Canadian dollars, about 214 million US dollars at the time. But as the scope expanded to include a full rebuild of the 100-level seating bowl, new premium clubs, upgraded player facilities, and cutting-edge technology, the final cost rose to nearly 400 million Canadian dollars, or about 290 million US dollars today. That choice set the project apart from the wave of publicly financed stadiums across North America. Without government dollars, there was little political controversy, but all the financial risk fell on the ownership's shoulders. Early signs suggest the gamble is paying off. Attendance climbed after the renovations, particularly among younger fans drawn to the new social zones and premium experiences. Revenue streams grew through redesigned clubs, expanded concessions, and exclusive seating areas. For players, the upgraded clubhouses and training facilities added weight to Toronto's appeal as a major league destination. Public opinion has been largely positive. Traditionalists miss the old Skydome's sheer scale and affordability, when 50,000 fans could fill the stands. Yet many acknowledge that modern baseball thrives on atmosphere and comfort, not raw capacity. Critics who once dismissed Rogers Center as outdated now admit the upgrades have given the stadium a second life. Looking ahead, Toronto's ballpark stands as an example of what's possible for aging concrete-era venues. Whether this reinvention proves to be a lasting solution or just buys time before calls for a new stadium grow louder remains to be seen. What is certain is that Rogers Center has shown the baseball world that even the heaviest concrete can be reshaped. And the next chapter will be written by the fans who fill its seats. Ready to be amazed by the next groundbreaking construction project? Click on the video now and dive into a world where engineering and imagination collide. See you there!